Good morning. Welcome back on this Thursday morning for day 4 of our plan, The Chosen. Grab your coffees, your Bibles, your journals. You know the drill. Your highlighters, your tablets, whatever you need, but most of all, just open your hearts, open your minds, and just let God speak to you this morning and encourage you, and just feel His love and His presence as we dive into this morning's devotional. We are reading again out of John, the book of John. We're in chapter 2 today, reading verses 6 through 11. Standing nearby were 6 stone water jars used for Jewish ceremonial washing. Each could hold 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus told the servants, "Fill the jars with water." When the jars had been filled, he said, "Now dip some out and take it to the master of ceremonies." So the servants followed his instructions. When the master of ceremonies tasted the water that was now wine, not knowing where it had come from, though of course the servants knew, he called the bridegroom over. "A host always serves the best wine first," he said. "Then, when everyone has had a lot to drink, he brings out the less expensive wine. But you have kept the best until now." This miraculous sign at Cana in Galilee was the first time Jesus revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. I love that Jesus' first miracle was turning water into wine at a wedding. Okay, our devotional for this morning, Emmanuel. There was a bona fide crisis underway. Back in Jesus' day, wine was a staple at most meals and a must at any respectable celebration. But at this wedding, the wine had run out. A humiliation of epic proportions for the groom's family, who was hosting the party. Jesus' mother, Mary, took it upon herself to find Jesus and bring him up to speed. "They have no wine," were her words in John 2:3. But her sense of urgency and meaning were clear. Help. No one in attendance except his mother had reason to believe Jesus could provide. He was as poor as anyone. He was seemingly normal. Up until that moment, there was little to set him apart from the other partygoers, which makes his mother-directed debut a precious backdrop to what followed in verses 5 through 11. Jesus' newly recruited disciples watched as he instructed the servants to fill giant jars with water. What a confusing but intriguing directive. The servants did as they were told, which included taking a glass of water to their superior, the master of the feast, who apparently knew nothing of the looming drama. And then, at some point between the drawing and the giving, the water turned into wine. Not just any wine, but awesome wine, the quality of which brought honor to the host, since common practice was to serve the cheap stuff as soon as guests were too drunk to notice. The party and reputation of his friends were saved, but of all the miracles Jesus could have performed first, he chose a wedding and wine and only a few witnesses. Why? Because he's Emmanuel, God with us, which is in Matthew chapter 1, verse 23. The setting of his first miracle, the need in front of Jesus, potential embarrassment, and his obedience to his mom were consistent with everything else in his life. He was ordinary. Jesus was born in a stable, raised by simple people, and worked as a carpenter like his dad. He attended school and synagogue and now a party, because God's method of rescuing the world was to enter it. For the next 3 years, the disciples saw Jesus do extraordinary things in ordinary, everyday circumstances. They watched the Messiah be hungry, happy, tired, frustrated, angry, and in the Garden of Gethsemane, afraid. They saw him love on the poor and rich alike, often using the common to display his heavenly glory, like loaves and fish, mud, waves, trees, and tombs. They learned to minister to real people with real problems, to love without prejudice, to preach the gospel no matter the conditions, to perform miracles, and to obey unto death. And through it all, the disciples followed his steps, because of their faith in the one who was with them, Emmanuel, God with us, who dwelt among us, and we have seen his glory. Glory as of the only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth. John 1:14. And our prayer focus today, thank God for Emmanuel and ask him for help in your pursuit to find the extraordinary in your ordinary. And moving forward, reflections for this morning. At this moment, what circumstances are most difficult for you? How should knowing that God is with you affect the way you respond to your circumstances? Just as the servants at the wedding had to draw water before they actually saw the water turn into wine, what are ways you can step out in faith as a result of his promise to be with you? Oh, this is good. I love this. Spend some time on those reflection questions, friends. I know I am going to. I already have so many thoughts coming to my mind about this, and just where, knowing God, trusting God, there are things that I can do, steps that I can take in faith, knowing that he is working behind the scenes right now in my life, and in things that are happening, but there are things that I can do just, again, as an act of faith, knowing that as he works all things out, I can still take steps forward, trusting that everything will work out, and not abandoning where he's leading me and start second guessing, but just be patient and trust and know that God's timing is perfect. And so I wait on him to make all things clear. Have an awesome Thursday, everyone. I love you all. Come back tomorrow as we wrap up this plan, and we'll see what he has for us tomorrow. Have a great day. Love you all. Bye-bye.